Okay. Dude, I always like people when they come and they see us doing the technical stuff, so they know how complicated it gets. From behind
Like
the
a small
scenes.
shake and something can just blow off,
Yeah, but this is part of our investment. Uvotam produces this podcast, so it's one of the products of Uvotam.
Okay.
Yeah, what Uvotam does is we're a production company.
It's some interesting work you've got out there.
I have seen your work. Fahad introduced Elevate's work to me last year. So we met your team. I think you are not around, but the day we came up. It's brilliant, really. The branding. Of course, introduce yourself then.
Well, okay. Thank you, Mark. I hope you guys can all hear me. My name is Tandeka Mutebi. I have a middle name, Philip, but I usually just stop at Tandeka Mutebi. How when they ask you, what's your name, and you want to put an English name, people say,
Tandeka Mutebi. Nice.
A true African man, a man of the
You're not colonized.
Not colonized.
You feel independent.
I am, what should I say? I'm a marketer, but I like to think of myself as a brand communications strategist or person. That's what I'm all about. Yeah. How brands are speaking to their audiences, and how do we sound? How are we supposed to appeal to Mark? Mark needs to hear a message this way, but this guy is speaking so corporate-ish. So I'm so fascinated and captivated by that. So communications, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the vision, Elevate, incredible work really. Is it like an agency that you handle clients on, like an agency-based kind of thing?
Yes, we have a few clients. We have, retainer, who we manage their brands, whose brands we manage. Whose brands we manage. Anyway, so we have a bunch of brands that we manage, and I'm really proud of the work that we've done. Sometimes you see...
I see what you've done with CG. I've heard.
With CG, yes. CG...
You introduced CG to the market in
CG was our first client. Our first ever client after, Jason and I came up with this, and he said, CG is the first person who came up, give us some money. At first we used to put out stuff like to showcase the design we could do and, just add a little copy there, a few posts here and there. And he saw the design and he was like, man, I need to work with a fellow startup anyway. But it's not like he could afford TBW or anything. He had no option. But it was a great collaboration, truly.
Is it still going on? Like, are you still handling the brand?
Oh, not on a permanent basis, but he does come in for some work. Now we are also all growing.
Yes.
It comes to a certain time when, for him, maybe you can't look into that kind of investment in marketing. It doesn't make sense as a startup level for him. Definitely. But for other people, it does. So it's about what your company
needs. Can you run a startup? And usually it comes up a lot where startup founders and co-founders ignore the value of marketing.
Yes. I was thinking about it.
I see today. This because you see we are content creators. You reach out to a client and you are handling easily the most important part of their marketing section, and they do not want to contribute to it every day. But this is what they are presenting to the clients. So when you say that it does not make sense, no, I don't believe in that. I believe to build a brand. First of all, you can only show consistency through marketing by keeping your appearance to the brand.
What you put out there matters, how you portray yourself. So but they still do a lot of work. So it's not that they they do work, but sometimes it doesn't make sense to work with a certain agency if they're going to charge you an amount that's over and above what you... But it's pretty dope. We've worked with a bunch of other startups, including Wapi. I don't know if you've heard of Wapi. It's a digital marketplace.
I first saw the work at the symposium.
At the symposium?
They did... They did the chat where you can just access everything at the symposium online, and I was very impressed.
What he does,
I like what they're
a
doing.
bunch of things. Like you can't know the digital marketplace. You can get people to do gigs for you through them. You need someone. You need a writer. You need a designer. You just go to the company. They have people like a database of creatives. Yeah.
So if I want an editor,
they just link you. And you get someone
who can handle motion graphics.
Because they realize that, man, some people can't now afford an agency on retainer.
That's true.
So I need a one-off. Where can I go? And then you trust their quality because there's a middleman to regulate the quality that's coming out of there. So it's amazing what they're doing. Then they also build amazing sites. Yeah. So they did the symposium one. We're doing an event soon, this month, actually.
Which event?
It's called Spaceport, Project Spaceport. We're really just bringing a bunch of creatives together, developers, designers, writers, just to talk, share.
How come you have not sent us?
Besides
us this, we are producing it.
It's been rolling out now, but it's been rolling out, and it's I think now we're getting to the intensive part of the marketing. Yeah. So you're going to be seeing more of it soon. But if you check our pages, it's there. There's even you can go and register and see. So we're going to have
you can register to be a part of it?
Yeah, people can attend online and others. We're going to have like a bunch of people. Let me say 100 at Alliance.
Who is talking? What are they saying?
So we're going to have a few people. We have some designers. We have some guy who used to be the TBWA art director. His name is Paul Zana. We have some people who are going to speak on intellectual property.
Okay.
So we have 2 lawyers there that are going to come and speak to creatives. You guys, this is how you can protect your work and monetize it as well. So I think we're also going to have Sharon Kakai from the Innovation Village, who's going to be speaking on communications and writing for conversions. So and even Sewaje Ivan, the brand strategist from Innovation Village, their head of brand really, he's also going to be there speaking on design. So it's, people are doing cool stuff. They are coming to what job are you able cocktail later?
Now, how is WAP's strategy different from what Elevate is doing?
Now, WAP doesn't really do it on an agency basis. Now, for Elevate, for example, you've worked with some of our best clients, I would say, KTA.
Yeah.
You need a team for that. You're not going to just get one person. Their demands are quite high, their design demands. If it's just one person, you're going to get frustrated and say, people are not even paying me. What you see?
Let's look at the symposium. With what was Elevate doing in terms of branding? Because the branding was all super cool. Was it all the wordings?
Actually, no. This time the branding we did last year's symposium, the one for creatives at Motive. We're the ones who did the whole branding for that. This year it was Picasso. Now Picasso is an agency like us, but for them they're specialized in design and design for law firms. So you see how people keep on differentiating themselves. There is space for all of us in the market. So for them, their niche is really law firms. And they're the ones who did the design for this year, and it was amazing. You could see it. They have an interesting. Their team lead. His name is Elijah Faizo.
Yeah,
amazing person, amazing mind. Yeah. So how he looks at design and everything. That's why you see everything is just so dope. You look at it and you want to think. It looks sticky. It looks dope. Yeah.
So at Elevate, how is your mind space like? How do you guys think through a brand and compose and engineer structure, like how it should communicate?
Well,
like how do you attach that? Who is the brain? Do you dream about these things? Is it like a history of education that you see in marketing? And
actually now, even to get back to that, it's not a history of education. You see how we are all in the creative space. Of course, now I've tried to do lots of stuff, but I didn't study marketing.
Yeah.
I studied law, and when I finished that,
You also did LDC, yeah?
No. That's why I did not go. After I graduated,
What was it?
But it had been the plan, at least.
Will you go back to, do you want to be a practicing lawyer? Why did you choose to do?
No. Life is all about discovery. True. So I was watching, I think Bill was on here sometimes. So I was watching one of his old things, and he was saying that the person he was in high school is not the person he was in in university, and it's definitely not the person
He
who is
reconstructs
right now. Like you
into
reconstruct,
society
you evolve
differently,
every time. So I think sometimes we make permanent decisions based on
Very
on
little
things we
information.
might reconstruct. So although that is a permanent decision, I couldn't pull out. I'm a person who really goes for things like
And finishes.
see it through and put that and let's go. And people rush through life these days. Like, how can you waste all those years? But it's not knowledge. Knowledge required is not really wasted. You can't know enough. So anyway, I didn't do marketing, but how we do it at Elevate, it's some of these companies come to us and they already established brands.
And they have
they come and
of how they want to communicate.
Of how they want to communicate. So it's about execution, and it's about reinforcing that execution like every day. It's about like you say, it's about consistency. Yeah. So execution can be very difficult for people. Guys can come up with marvelous ideas and strategy, but then when you reach the executing bit, maybe a little design is off, maybe some statement is off, and for lawyers, I believe they see those small things, and like, oh, it just looks cringe. It's cringe. So you have to be careful your wording, how you sound. So it's sensitive, but I think it was good that we.
In terms of feedback and bounce back rate, like what you construct for the client, submit to them, and their input to that. Like, no, we want this change, know this, or they trust you enough to know that whatever you want to give them is how you feel.
I think for most clients, they want to trust you enough. Okay. Yeah? If they're paying you money, they want to know that I don't need to worry about that now. Yeah? Like, okay, for sensitive things, direction is very important always, because you're the vision bearer. Yeah. So if something is going off and you don't come to correct it, there's a problem there. But you need to let people exercise their creativity and let them spread their wings. We did a piece about it sometime, about just let people exercise their creativity. And I appreciate that the people that we've worked with have given us that opportunity, that man, you guys just do what you do. Do what you do, and let's see what it's going to bring. And the results have been pretty encouraging. Well, startups.
In terms of funds, though, how is that? Is it sustainable? Do you feel like it's an industry where you can grow and become multi-millionaires?
Now, for the agency, well, I think
as compared like content to back to our sides, to the people consuming whatever you are producing, is it sustainable to you?
Well, for me, I think right now in the space, in our environment right now in Uganda, actually in the world everywhere, you need to keep on innovating. You need to keep on adding new things, seeing what other opportunities you can open with the skill set that you've got. Now, when you at Elevate, it's a very diverse team. We have 2 guys from law school. We have a bunch of software engineers. We have a dietitian. We have a business, and like it's all different people. Different people, but they all come with a certain skill, and they are learning other skills. Now, for designers especially, I'm not.
Are you a designer yourself?
Funny, I'm not artistic myself. I can't draw. I don't have any sense of art in my fingers or wherever. I don't. So it's very difficult. But the designers I've gotten a chance to work with, they have very interesting perspectives on life and on design as well. So I want to say something, but don't say too much. But you need to keep innovating. Now, as a company, you said, how do we survive? You need to keep innovating. If you're just doing social media, and that is not sustainable.
What innovations are you guys?
I'm saying you need to get, maybe can you add a web development team, and that's all indoor. Now, to evolve our digital, can we have photography, and can we partner with Exactly. You see,
you guys, exactly.
Can we partner with Uvotam and see these guys get some clients, and we do that because they have amazing and we have really good graphics as well, really good communication. So you need to keep, and then even for events such as Spaceport. Now it's going to be an annual event. It's not going to be once. Now you've started out just us and our partners, a few other partners, including WAPI, and another very exciting young agency. I think most of our guys there are all still at university. It's called Create. But their design is really
impressive.
It's impressive. You look at it and you're like, who's working?
For example, now like this podcast, the conversations. If I wanted like a design, and I've been talking to a few interior designers. I think I was talking to Sasha about it. If I wanted like a set and a structure, by just telling you, all I do is sit down with people and have conversations from different perspectives of their lives, stories that interest them. Is your team in position to like come up with an idea of how this will be presented, like the setting, how we should sit?
Oh, like
like this.
Yes. We it's not really the whole interior bit. But I think for the graphics bit, that those parts of design we can really cover. But when it comes to how you organize,
like what chairs we should have,
those kinds of things, for me, I think those involve at least some architectural perspective.
Okay.
How people are going to feel when they're seated. Those things they say, wellness and everything. Now, you see, I was telling you that at Elevate we have like a bunch of people completely different. Now, at Create as well, young agency, but one is a designer, is doing let me say Bachelor of Commerce, another one is doing architecture. So if you approach an agency like that, they're going to have a wider perspective because they can cover your design, the graphics and everything, and then the person who's maybe an architect, they can also advise on do this so that the place looks exactly. So it's what I've realized about agencies, it's you're bringing together lots of different people with different backgrounds, and for your agency to keep on to survive, you need to tap into everyone's creativity, everyone there. So you need to develop a company culture where people feel they're part of the company, because no one is going to let you tap into all their many talents if the culture is toxic and it's unwanted. People need to want to work with you, to be there and enjoy their work. And I think that's one thing we pride ourselves in, the company culture. Yeah.
Exactly. Speaking of culture, what kind of culture are you guys building? As Elevate. And you as Mutebi, for you, what kind of culture do you want to see?
In the company or in the world generally?
What kind of culture do you imagine to live in? What is your ideal culture and society?
Oh, society. Well,
because that also represents now the values of the companies, of operations.
Because whatever you're trying to put out is what you would like to see outside.
Exactly.
Well, I wish people would all just be nicer to each other. Yeah. Like don't you like? I used to. There's a time I think at the peak pandemic, where just a little thing, there was so much.
There's no time for this because people don't have that.
It's not there. It's not there, and everyone comes with their preconceived misconceptions, and they don't want to change them. It's difficult, but I think we need to keep on learning and unlearning and evolving. That's what your human experience should be about.
But you see, also, it's how I think what social media takes away from us and why people react that way is because of how it's structured. You see, if someone sat down with me, like what I do with these podcasts, whenever I have talked to, let's say you'd feel okay with having a conversation like this. But if I said almost like half the things I say on the podcast on Twitter, I'd get a big backlash, like, oh my God, people will judge me from all types of words and all angles, from everyone's perspective. No, you meant this. No, you meant this. It's like your take on LeBron, yeah.
It was good.
It's funny. You
So
see
what
that?
do you think? Actually,
I don't know, like,
because it shows perspective.
Like your homie, you want to represent him there, and then that's how you feel.
Okay,
but then,
but I also understand.
Exactly.
No, I understand why someone's like, because people came there and like,
I saw,
and I was like, okay, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. It does.
But then I read into your point of this would have come like at a later point where it's like a memory and we're all fancy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think
like
that when wounds are fresh, we need to be sensitive about how we're mourning. Don't make it about yourself. Yeah. If it's fresh, it's just happened. Don't make it about yourself. Like, it's not about you really, man. So I think it would have been good at the 5th anniversary, 10th, even maybe next year on his birthday.
Probably on his
like on the day,
like a special day for him.
Just after it happened, and you know how it's sensitive, how he had died, how he had been shot. So I thought it was really corny. But
what do you think about we've had lots of rappers getting shot. What do you think about that?
Well,
what do you think? I know we don't relate to that world as Ugandans, but then this is the music we're listening to the most, and these guys really have this in their lyrics, the shooting. So do you feel like that has an effect on your lifestyle and how you
I used to. I never used to listen to a lot of rap. It's you know how I told you, you keep on evolving, you keep on growing, and that's how I've done with music. Like, I came into learning and loving new music. But whenever you listen to some of these lyrics and you're thinking, okay, just lyrics. So when I see some of these things happen, you're like, so this nigga wasn't kidding. Right?
But it's interesting. Look at Kanye West. He's literally sang through everything he's lived previously.
No, because it's amazing, and some of these lyrics are so violent, so violent. You're like, man, because in my mind, or I believe so many people think this. Okay, not so many people, but people could think this, that money, like when you have a lot of money or when you pass a certain amount of money, there are some things that you shouldn't be worried about. You understand that? Like, man, some guy is going to shoot me.
Like your safety. You cannot enjoy your own life like you want. You just can't be anywhere. You can't eat anywhere, so even if you have the money.
It's what I think about is that, man, I think it just reflects their culture. It reflects how their society is, how that's what goes down, and that's what they think about what effect it has here. I wouldn't read too much into it.
Drugs and alcohol?
Okay, no, drugs. Okay, differently. Yeah. I thought to tell you about the violence.
You know, it's all the same. It's all connected. Now, if you've watched the manifest, they say it's all connected.
Okay, now for the violence, I wouldn't read much into it. For the drugs and alcohol, that's because now it's accessible to us. For us here, for our guns, and because gun violence is major there because there are laws of soft here and not. But now for drugs, it has a very
it's gradual. The implication could be now drugs and alcohol could affect us because of how we feel. Because almost all the guys we idolize freely talk about what they use. These are the lyrics, but also it looks like it's a business. Like, it's all connected from all perspectives. Like, they need these lyrics to keep
the cycle,
and the shooting still have to go on. So that
it fits into the lyrics
exactly, and the narrative it looks like because it's the same guy singing about it, and the other people singing.
But doesn't it perplex you? Why is it so appealing? Why do we love rap lyrics that have
it feels illegal?
It feels illegal, exactly. There's a thrill about doing things that you're not supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
But anyway, that's where discernment comes in. You need to know where to stop. But it's a very big problem now. I believe so, especially for drugs. I think now, like everyone says that everyone has had a friend, a family member who's struggled with these things seriously, and I think. Maybe we need to be more open about it here in Uganda.
When you say open about it, like how? The stigma, is it the awareness? Is it that we do not know what
we need using? To be open about the repercussions of drug and alcohol abuse. We need to be open about what's the results of all of that. We need to be, people need to be aware. People need to be aware that I do this, that this is what's going to happen. But, we kind of glamorize alcoholism and abuse of drugs. And we're all guilty of that. It looks, man, chill, cool, what? I don't know.
No, maybe we're designed like that. Don't you feel like it's like phases? We go through that where now our age bracket has to be about being in the bar. Then we get out of it.
I get out of it, and I believe so too. I kind of agree. I kind of agree with you that
like
you go through
a process of life. Like
it's a cycle of life. Have been here. That's why I don't like when people are judging others. Like, everyone is going through their cycle. Yeah. And that's their point where they're experiencing that. Yours might come at a different point. So there is no one experience that's universal, that we all have the same human experience. Nah.
Have you had experiences with maybe taking care of someone?
Taking care of
yourself, issues,
taking care of someone, no, but I have known lots of families. Lots of families that have had kids go through the cost, and then it really breaks families up. Yeah. But I think people will be like, "Hey, Tandeka, we saw you all going moralistic on us," and I'm like, "But it's the truth. You need to be careful with how you do, with how you do."
Do you ever know? Do you think you ever know these things? Like, understand that now it's too much.
I think sometimes when you win, even if you get it.
How did you go through a law degree?
How did I go?
With a sober mind.
I had the Lord. Jesus.
What motivated that? What were your values? What are your values anyway, you as Mutebi? What values do you live by? Do you prioritize wealth?
I think
do you want to be famous?
I won't say so many values. I will just say one thing: empathy.
Yeah.
Empathy. I think that I try to have that define a lot of what I do. Of course, I'm not perfect. People fail. Even when you're striving to be something or do something, sometimes you fail.
Yeah.
But in the totality of my life, that's what I want it to be about. Because I think, that there's that quote from DFK, OHTW. So, OHTW, Mpanga, where that these things are going to keep happening if we do not develop a central nervous system. We need to feel each other's pain. Yeah, and that is the only way we can develop a better society. So for me, that's my value, empathy. Like, sometimes it's difficult, man. Yeah.
And really, it catches up with you. There's an accident that just happened in Tinder. So it turned out thing that turned back.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
God forbid it turned out to be that the girl was a minister's child. Now, when I was listening to the stories from a few friends I work with here, they're saying, hey, the minister is on the radio saying that the hospital made some mistakes, blah, blah, blah. Like, this when you go and do a Twitter search on the health system of the country, you realize that people complain about health every day. But then the people who have power have to wait until...
It's difficult that we are getting diseases we can't handle anymore. Like, we're focusing so much on industrialization and what, but man, we're not going to have a workforce to do all that work if people are dying every day. So for me, I think always, even as government and state, people should always try to first invest. Government should always look to first invest in its population. Especially in their well-being. Yeah. When you imagine if you don't have to worry about that if you fail or if you feel sick, and you don't really have to worry about certain things, maybe housing.
Yeah, right now, if you fall really sick, you could go back to the village and start farming.
If you don't know people,
it's crazy. If let's say you have a bill and you have a psychosis issue in like your family, and you're a breadwinner, that could kill you.
Yeah, the whole family.
It's either you lose a relative knowingly and be like, we have to sacrifice our survival for you, or you choose their survival for you living like peanuts. Now back to like the company. What's your long-term vision?
Long-term vision for the company really is, you know how I talked about the innovation thing, that we need to keep on innovating. Multiple income streams. You need, now, let me say design, we have social media, we have just now even like PR consultancy. Just that is there as well. Web app development. So that's why it's really helpful to have a team with a diverse team from different backgrounds. So this guy's a guy who did software engineering can start something to do with app development, still in the company.
So right now, are you looking at keeping because I was looking at your website, are you looking at keeping the team small, or where you know everyone off head? Or you guys
I think the team is good now. We'd also like to grow with the team that we have. These are people that, if you looked back, let me say 2 years ago. Okay, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
These people, some of these people were there. So they started when we were paying them 100K per gig. Now
it's improving.
It's improving. So it's people you'd like to stay with you. There is a camaraderie with us. So we need to go with them, improve.
In terms of investing in them, are you also adding to their personal skills?
Oh,
are
definitely.
They getting from the company, or are they just looking for their next meal?
We try to get, if you really come into Elevate and you, this is a very bad reflection on me. If you come into Elevate and you do not live with any other skill, that's a big problem.
We can add you some more.
Yes, please. And you don't live with any other skill. That's really a problem. But right now, I won't lie to you. We're also a startup. We're also surviving. So these things about investing. Yes, we're investing, and we try our best to and I believe that the people who work with us will accept this. That we try our best to invest in the guys we have, but in the end, we're a company that needs to grow.
Definitely.
So you need
What's
to
your
be
working
smart
style
about
at
it.
Elevate? Can you describe your working style?
Well, we have an office at a photo hub near Wampeo Avenue, just up there.
Next to
it's a small space. Right? It's a small space, so we can't all fit in because I think now the team we're almost 15 to 20. So we're a remote team mostly. So that's the thing of we work a lot with creative. So I get a designer. I know this designer. He's very good. We bring him in. He's part of Elevate. He works with us, but he does his other work. We have people who are still at law school. We have people who are, doing all sorts of other things, and we love that.
So the designer, aren't they direct competition to you? Can't they get like a referral client, and then they decide not to?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's
How do you
very
go about
true.
that?
Then it's about the value you bring as a company. What more do you bring as a company? We have very good designers. Actually, it so happens that some of our clients come into the designers. They start working with the designers, and then when they need more marketing assistance, they come on as a company client. Or I'm helping someone with their socials, advising brand comms, and then later they want to come in with design and everything. They also come into Elevate that way. So it's we're not really worried about people designers taking class, because we know as a company we bring more value than just the designer. Yeah.
Okay. Why are you putting on a Frank Ocean shirt, man?
I'm a huge fan. You know those corny ass things. Now let me be like Lebo. I'll be like, his music healed me. I'm like, bro, now his music healed me. No, but now.
Is that like an album?
Yes, this is his second album. Yes. So with his music, I love. Oh, this is Ugandan made shirt. I hope I think.
Oh, the
so.
print really.
Yeah. So I have.
Like, how is it Ugandan made? Like, some guy invested in printing merchandise for Frank Ocean?
No. There's a guy who
that's
does
you.
the
You personalized it.
Yeah, the cast.
That's how much you like the music.
Exactly.
Oh my.
Oh, I love his music. I love anything that sounds soulful. His music is calming.
Yeah.
It's man. But then sometimes you also want to listen to some faster things. But his music speaks to no, but I won't share. That's his experience. But
No. Tell, like how you understand his experience, like how you relate to him is how you understand his experience. So
okay, now I think when you're listening to his music, it makes you feel imagine, okay, like he paints a picture. Do you know music that paints a picture? Let me give an example. The other music that I listen to and I feel like it should be painting a picture is like Don Toliver. I don't even know how they're related or anything, but you just listen and you start painting pictures, imagining. It's just, I don't know if it's in production, that's how you guys would know. Yeah. The sound is just there, it's coming, then you almost vividly imagining things. But okay, it also so happens that some of these things come up when you you listen to this music when you're
in cloud nine and you feel it.
Anyway, now away from the music, I really love away from Frank Ocean. Yeah. I really love music, and I feel right now that
what does music mean to you?
That was a difficult question. It's so wide. What do you mean? What does it? For me, music is
to develop love for anything. Usually, you say now. Let me bring it in this perspective. I have a podcast because I started this with my elder brother. Mm-hmm. But everyone has their reasons as to why they sit on this podcast. Yeah, we share very many equal values because we've shared space for a very long time. But also, our father used to make us listen to, of course, for us, hierarchy has always been hierarchy. Tulibana Waganda, Uganda, Mutula. You listen to the radio Javata Deko. And out of respect, you just go with that vibe, yeah? It's his comfort. So, most of the times he had talk shows on for CBS. Now, I spent a big chunk of time going with him to work. Then I drop off to MOOC and study when I was not at hostel. Then after, I still go back with him. Now, in the time of coming in the morning, there's a talk show. Yeah. In the time of leaving, there's some guy, maybe program assessing some government stuff going on. So the art of conversation grew. But then when we grow up like that, from that being inclined that you have to listen to this bullshit all the time, because I was too young to be involved in
the conversation.
But I kept on about it, yes. Now that, then growing up to see how social media takes away from so much from us. Now before the podcast, I used to be very opinionated. You'll get comments of how he's toxic, but that guy, of people misinterpreting you all the time, for everything. But then you can't get that when you sit and have a sit-down conversation with everyone. I've had, it's been weird with girls. The ones that have called me toxic, usually if they don't have a thing for me and they like me, when I have a personal conversation with them, then they think I'm a very shy individual. Okay, not shy, but they don't. They what they had in their mind is not what they get. But then that's what's in my mind, because Twitter tells you what's on your mind. So that then I realize it's safer to actually talk to people rather directly.
So that's what this idea came out of.
Yeah, that, of course, and sharing. These are really big conversations. We get on people. Sometimes they're experts and but just that art of conversation where you'll not be judged. Because now when I talk to you, even if I talk to you about a very extreme topic, you'd still want to listen. Hey, how does this guy think about it? But when I tweet it, you will come in all aspects. This guy is an asshole. Even last time he was there wearing a red shirt. Now he's saying this bullshit. But this guy.
Well, okay, that's true. We're hyper connected now with social media, but it has taken away the authenticity of relationships or of conversations. Yeah, it's limiting. It's 240 characters. You need to explain yourself in 240 characters.
280. Is Elon going to increase it? By the way, with the new Twitter thing, I think they said you can express yourself.
Oh yeah, with pictures and so. For me, that's interesting. I like to read short things that are not shorter things. So like Twitter text, small articles, those I love to read a lot. So I think it would be a good idea if it's like that AOT thing where it has a description about it. I think it would be pretty cool. Because it gives you context. Context is very important.
Exactly. Now, when you say you love short things, usually short things are out of context. Yeah, like when you see a TikTok video, there could be a guy explaining, you know what, women should be in the kitchen cooking.
Oh yeah.
But then the TikTok moves with just that part. But then it was a really solid conversation with a detailed explanation.
We've also fallen into this thing where we over sensationalize everything.
Yeah.
Because I want to market, I'm like, how am I going to capture this attention? Now, this is how I trigger her. Even if I'm going to say something to read, like a complete rebuttal later, I'm going to be like, I'm going to use this to capture their attention. So it's how people are. People are complicated.
Do you get triggered off the internet?
Oh yes.
What will trigger you? I feel like I got to a level. I don't know, because then I opened myself since we started publishing. I knew that, of course, you expect positive and negative.
Yeah.
So I genuinely don't get triggered off the internet, but apart from maybe government.
That's what
government will trigger me. Like, you guys, you bought a Range Rover off my taxpayer, you chick. Like, what are you doing?
Yo, let me tell you, for government, it's triggering every day on a day. Now, but for people, I tend not to. I read, and some of the things I just laugh. You just laugh. You send to someone, you like. But that's how people are.
But in terms of opinion, like again, because you see, people forget one thing: we are all informed from different backgrounds, different cultures, different understandings. How I've seen my dad raise me is probably what different. I know.
From how you've seen it, yes.
And it's different from the ideal world. It's interesting that people always love to push the idea of learn to unlearn, but we don't learn the same things. You don't consume the same content I'm consuming. Exactly. People have different views. There are the people whose minds have like 20% of let's say stuff that is Christianity. Right.
Trust me, I know a bunch of people like that.
Exactly. Their opinions are only informed from like a standpoint of just the Bible, even if it's unrealistic, and you definitely cannot just change
and
that.
I've struggled with that. I'm from a very religious background, I should say. Conservative Christian. So coming up and then growing up, and you've gone to high school now, and you're getting exposed to different kind of music, and people are using a whole, it's a whole other experience now, and you still have all these values that were imparted upon you from home, and you have to gauge now, who am I going to be as a person? That's why I believe in that thing. You need to keep on evolving. There's no one time you should just be like, oh, this is what this guy used to do in high school. And
so, did you carry the Christian values with you?
Oh yes, I think I.
Are you still practicing Christianity?
Very much so. But I carry the basic love. That's that Lord, because you say obey the Lord.
So you believe in heaven and hell.
And then he said, love your neighbor, like just love. If you love, there's so many things you're not going to do. Yeah. True. So many things you're not going to do.
But actually, love is really a powerful concept.
You get it. So that's where it's at now.
How do you deal with love and emotions of the world, and know that let me just practice to spread love and ignore all these things, jealous, hate.
You can't ignore it. It's actually difficult. You can't spread love every day, but you have to strive. For the most part, if you can, try to show some love, try to show some compassion, some empathy. Because, at least for me, I'm a product of that, it's a product of love. Like people, of course, everyone is a product of love.
Not that's what you mean. You can get all his story, you'd shake. Let's go.
Really? Anyway, so, everyone is, I don't know what I was going to tell you about.
Everyone is a product of love.
That I have so much love in my life, and it informs things that I do.
Will you only marry one woman? Or you share your love with
definitely
very many.
just
Do you believe in polygamy or monogamy?
Now this is the thing. I don't myself personally as a person of value monogamy, but I don't judge anyone who's polygamous because I think that people are from different cultures. Even Christians who are polygamous, if they are Christians and they're polygamous, some people are.
Do you think it's fair to a man or to even a woman to spend the rest of their life with just one person?
Come again.
Do you think it's fair for humanity, with all the love we have to give, to spend the rest of our lives with just one commitments to just one person? I think every day shows us that that's an impossibility. Is it only human beings that have that? Well,
the
animals are lucky,
and there are animals that do that also, that have a long time relationships.
No.
They're actually there.
Which animals?
I don't know it off it, but let me tell you. I'll tweet it. When you put this out, I'll quote Twitter. I'll be like, Mark, this is what I was telling you. It's there. For me, I think it's in our nature. You can, for some people, you can commit to one person. And for me, I've seen it. I've grown up in a family like that. Just
we can never know what's in the closet. I also really look at my dad as the most humblest person, the most honest person I also know. But whenever I have these conversations, sometimes even with my uncles, they're like, Yogeza Buto, my guy. For us now, we're with him at campus, we're with him what? So, things like that.
No, but
it gets you thinking.
It's but Nzindos aren't well innocent. How you start maintaining a whole other family out there?
You see, when you say money, it's weird because then even the poor guy who survives off 100K a month can have 5 million.
That's I think that's what I also appreciate about not really UG, but let me say other countries where people, wherever they are contented. Yeah. This man will be there in his hut with, let me say, 4 huts around him, with his 4 wives. For me, I think contentment is what matters. If you're contented with one person.
Yeah. So for you lean towards the monogamy bit of it because you
personally.
Yeah.
It's what I've grown up seeing.
And a lot of your life is Christian, but I don't even think, because you see when you look at the Bible, Christian leaders had millions of wives.
That's some of the kings.
Their goal is to fill the earth. Father Abraham.
Some of the kings.
Most of the kings, not some of the kings. Most of the kings actually
had multiple wives and
kings. That's the whole concept of being king. All women.
So, what do you think about this whole thing? You see how they normalize men having multiple.
Yeah.
Even in the like from when society started, men can have kings, but why is it that if it's a woman,
I think it's a proven formula.
It's a proven formula.
And as someone who is really into data science, I work with both big data and small data. The big data shows that men are designed like that. They can coexist with more partners. And it's proven. But the most successful of men have had more partners. More evidence leans towards that when you look at it at Gums. Even the guys who are really genuinely happy, the women I've seen in my green who are genuinely happy.
They're also in polygamous relationships.
They're in polygamous relationships where they know, where there's very little manipulation. One of the things that people deal with in relationships, when you look at divorce cases, just for my friends, there's so much manipulation. And usually the men that run away from that are men who admit and accept that, you know what, we're polygamous, and they share it with whatever partners they choose to have. There's someone else. So if I'm not happy today here, I'll go to another house.
Well, I think some of us are wired differently.
But now you as a Christian, you lean towards this because you're Christian. What does God mean to you?
Well, what does God...
what does the concept of God mean to you? When you say God.
Okay. There's some things. Okay, when I say I come from a Christian background, I'm a PK. So there's some things I feel like saying, and I'm like I shouldn't say that. But I believe that God exists for everyone. Yeah, not just for Christians, not just for Muslims, not just for Buddhists. So God exists for everyone. Our religions are vehicles to access God in a way that we understand. If you look at Christianity, Christianity has a lot of Roman influence. Yeah, because although it came from, let me say, the Jewish and it spread through Rome, and then it came to in the Roman Empire. It kept on spreading. So you look at Islam because of where it comes from. Yes, it's Arabic influence. But all the concepts, if you read all these things, especially for the Abrahamic religions, they all go back to the same thing. So for me, there is no doubt about the existence of God. Yeah? But I believe all these divisions...
minus history. What does it mean to you? Like, when you say God to you, what is it? Is it someone looking over you when you're having sex and sitting for exams and stealing someone in your business meeting? What does it mean to you? Is it like hope you cling on to and be like, yo, I don't really understand what's going on, but whenever I lean towards this direction...
have you ever heard of that concept that we all have a little God in us?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know, that's how I would explain God, what God means to me. That we all have, good and God.
So to you, this is a very I think this is a question I asked one of the women I know in my life who are Christian. So I asked them, can you differentiate, is to you what you mean by God? Is it good? Because whenever they were giving me examples, of how they relate to God, they were telling me of something good they have done. Then I've told them, I know atheist people that are genuinely good.
Yes.
Yeah, and they do good. But they live by almost the same principles, but they explain them differently. They just attach...
I failed to reconcile that personally, and I'm putting that out there. I failed to reconcile that a person who's lived as an atheist and has done so much good that they're going to go to hell. Yeah? I find it hard to reconcile that, but that's what the Bible says. But personally, that's a personal not a misconception, it's personal. I just fail to reconcile that. And I honestly believe that there is no one, no religion out there that knows everything. So we shall all just find out in the end. If it's indeed there. If
the end is anyway, then what do you think about death? Do you feel like there's life after death? Do you feel like there's an end? Because me, I believe once I die now, that's the end of me. But everyone else I talk to convinces me how my soul stays alive. Like, I lost my mom when I was like 4 years, so people try and convince me like, yo, your mom is watching over you, or things like that. But I feel like once you pass on, you're complete. That's it. Your end has come. There is nothing to look up to after or before.
I think don't you feel spiritual sometimes? Feel like your spirit is connected to the world or to the earth?
Well, people tell me about their spirits. I actually go to church. So whenever I go to church, the person I pray with has... They think of themselves as spiritual. They believe they are spiritual. They believe they talk to God sometimes. So there's this power that can take over them and shake. I'm like, okay. Like they keep telling me how it's a process. You reach to this level. Like it's a real you're getting to. I'm like, who chooses? Why does God choose some people? Like, okay, why haven't they chosen me as yet?
Why doesn't he reveal himself to
you? Like
I think you have to let him in. I need people to watch this one because I'm spreading the word of God. I'm preaching. You need to let... I think for most of these things you need to... For me, When I told you God, then I said good. Then I said sometimes when you feel spiritual. Then, I just feel that God is the spirit of the earth. Yeah? Or this is not anywhere. It's not written anywhere. This is my personal feeling that He's the spirit of the earth. The spirit has good. The spirit directs us to do things. It's a spirit that's in the earth. That's why people can go and meditate and feel so connected and transformed. And people use some of these psychedelics, shrooms or LSD or what. And they have such spiritual experiences that completely transform their lives. Yeah.
So the guy that uses psychedelics to achieve that, and probably they meditate through realms in their minds, and then the guy that goes to church and stands every day and basks in faith, is it the same thing? Is it different? And what is good or bad?
We're all,
using the
for me, I
psychedelics.
think we're all looking for that. We're all looking for a connection with that. There is, if you're just living there, and I'm not an atheist, so I don't understand how they live, but I feel there's an emptiness. Yeah, if an emptiness you feel if you're not connected with your spiritual self. So
now you feel complete. What you want to say, because now you're speaking to atheists. You're speaking about atheists and non. What you're saying is, for you feel complete because you have an idea of a God. Now, that completion is what I want you to explain. Like, how does that make you feel complete? By just believing. It's one thing. If I expect money tomorrow, and I make a reservation for my woman, but banking on the fact that Martin is going to pay me some money, your money, and they don't. Yeah.
I know how frustrating that
can
be.
That's very frustrating. Then it's one other thing for me to really expect some money, but I've not made any reservations. But I am broke. And my long lost Jaja, who sold land, sends me 300 bob in this week from nowhere, and it just comes. Yeah. Do I feel complete, like God is watching over me that I am broke? Really, my long lost Jaja thought about me.
So, have you had spiritual people on this podcast before?
Yeah.
How have people reacted to them?
I do this podcast in two ways. Sometimes I have conversations, sometimes I produce conversations, and I don't have them. So the ones I've produced, I've put them with an atheist man, and it has been crazy. They were just battles, but the arguments are interesting.
Well, you talked about the health system.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad was sick sometime, cancer.
Yeah.
And he had to go to the UK to. It's kind of a testimony. I think they needed around 250k.
Yeah. USD.
£250,000.
Pounds. All right. All right.
But we don't have that money. Yeah. But it's just that. If you listen to some of the stories of people who came to contribute and gave money and the convictions they experienced, like someone is just there, feels something. That's why I'm like, you can't really discard
feels like
the idea of God. You can't, there is something that works. There is a spirit, at least call it a spirit.
So you feel like God is almost like the guy who directed Manifest, because he gave people callings, they would feel some type of way they were connected.
Just know there's a spirit in this earth, and it's God. And he's in heaven. Christianity is in heaven. The people who believe in the earth and the power of the earth.
There are many other gods. There are Chinese who believe, there are the Buddhists, there are who...
So I believe...
The witch doctors.
But you need to find your way to him. And for me, my way to him is Christianity. I feel reassured.
Do you read the Bible?
In that. Yes. I've hesitated. I used to read it a lot, so much. Maybe fallen off a little. I should get back to reading more. But I know lots of the stories there. I like to know that I know the Bible a little. Okay, decent. It's a decent amount of knowledge about it.
Okay. Now let's go back to you. How do you handle stress?
Stress.
As a business guy, with first of all in the startup world, where also operating in Uganda, where institutions are a bit tricky, you have to deal from the banking systems to just if let's say you have a deal, let me shock you. If now, like for us, we do some deals with government. You could do a deal with government, and you're giving them these services. Then payment will take forever. You're going to like a quarter, it will eat into your business. Then you have to remit taxes to them. Yeah. So there's so much that comes with that. To just working with creatives. Yeah, you know how creatives are
difficult to manage.
Exactly. So how do you handle your stress?
Really, I think I have a great support system. I rely a lot on my friends. You know, people take these things for granted, but I do not like. I have people I really rely on. I might not even tell you that, yo, Mark, this is how I'm feeling or some shit like that. I would just come and we spend some time together, play some PlayStation, and I'd go feeling better. And sometimes you can even talk about things and be like, should I do this? So it's really about creating a support system around you and building a network.
Yeah.
You need to build a network of people to support you. So I think when you do that, then you kind of get to deal with the stress. I know some people expect me, I don't just smoke some weed. Man, I stopped doing those things, but...
You stopped smoking weed?
Yeah.
What reasons do you have for stop?
It's not smoking weed.
When you say I stopped doing those things, it's also a very...
it's judgmental. It's
Hey.
a judgment. You're doing those things.
Why did you start smoking weed? Let's start there.
No, I don't think there's a particular. I always.
There is actually.
Okay,
I'll tell you my story.
Okay, you tell me. People can say that. Oh, I had this, or it wasn't. I wanted to experiment. See, and actually, for naturally occurring things like big, you plant things. It's a plant. You look at and it works pretty well.
Okay, how did you stop? That is why you are even. Had you reached what level where you're functioning addict that you could not stop?
Yeah.
Or is it something like?
It was more of a functioning addict. Like I could just be here and I'm back, but I value my productivity a lot. You have to be very serious about life.
Okay. Yeah, speaking of productivity, this is an argument I've had with one of my business partners about weed and probably smoking maybe during day. Their argument is it reduces your productivity from here.
Yes.
But now, when you meet, there are some people who tell you it increases their productivity. Okay, I know that we really need to understand.
I think we need more information about these things. Yeah. Now, there's the information about the effects is not enough. Of course there is, but for individual effects, it's not enough. Now you can say for you smoked weed and nothing happened to you. Another person smokes weed and he has the worst.
Yeah, because I understand where on the spectrum I belong. I understand my generation, so I know that the weed to me is almost like a plus.
What do you mean? It's almost like a plus.
Well, it first of all, it will make me feel better. It helps me meditate. I could give you 20 reasons as to why I smoke weed that are good as compared to maybe the usual I'd sleep off or what other people want to relate it to. It eats up your time in the day. But when it goes back to planning, because once now like me, I structure my day in hourly bits. I know. I don't make my day boring. I don't have the normal standard schedule of work at 8, stop at 5, then do everything else. I have my day divided at 3 a.m. Sometimes I'm working. Yeah, it's divided depending on the mood. But I know that my tasks, my tasks are divided within that day with whatever I want to do. I know there's a call here and it's important. It's at this time. I have that time. I have to do a presentation on this. I have an Excel thing to finish up. I have the time speculated for it.
I admire that flexibility.
Yeah, I just don't like to make it boring. Yeah, because the times I was employed, I realized that normal routine like that made everything so boring. I want to feel like I own my day.
And you're a person who works best, or your creativity is at its highest when you.
The thing I don't want to say when I smoke, but when
not when you smoke, when you're not in 8 to 5
exactly.
You have let me say productivity bursts.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think actually if people as people, the workforce, we need to keep on learning about ourselves.
Yeah.
For you to know when to maximize your productivity. Now, for me, I'm a morning person. Yeah. I am such a morning person, and people complain about it because some people I work with get up early in the morning at 5 a.m. and they found, let's do this is what you're going to do early in the morning. But by noon, if I didn't schedule things, if it's not just something that's planned, that you just have to go through it, I'm already.
I think you talked about Biwol. Biwol said for him, his day starts after midday.
That's
the only time he can be fun. That's why he cannot handle employment. He sleeps until midday. 1, he's up because most of his work probably is in the evening and he stays up. Yeah, so that type to me. But also, as I'd asked you what your working style is, it's almost the same thing for us here at Ugandan. Our working style is almost like that. Yeah, as long as you're accountable for your time, you can divide it throughout that day.
Exactly. If you committed 3 hours to us, give us 3 hours. Exactly. But for me, it's really about completing your task.
Exactly.
It's really about, now for me, I do lots of things. Minus elevator, I have lots of personal things I do with family. So I need to also have time. So you might find right now someone is calling me about work and I'm in Wakiso at a land's office or something like that. So that's why I also don't like people who don't tell me things that they did before. Like, let's communicate. Okay, I think maybe it's a professional hazard, but I kind of struggle. I judge everyone when it comes to communication. Like, you didn't let me know why you need to communicate. I think it helps a lot. But what my working style really is, I have lots of productivity bursts. So it's based on productivity bursts.
Is wealth or fame important to you?
What?
Wealth and fame, are they important to you?
Wealth, I wouldn't say that I want to be a very rich man. I don't want to be... who's a very rich man? I don't want to be...
Kanye West.
I don't want that kind of wealth. I don't... Amos Wekesa said sometime about how he's never built a house. Or he's now building a house, and why have a small house of 2 rooms, just enough for him because they have 1 kid or 2 kids. I want something. I don't want so much money. You
don't want to exaggerate your life?
No, I don't want to exaggerate my life. But I need to be functional.
Do you think there's such a thing as enough money?
No.
Because too much
I think
money
when you
money.
When you make more, you want more. It's exactly. Someone will tell me you're saying that because you haven't. Yeah, that could be true as well. But at least right now, what I know is that...
Because the more you make money, the more you want to invest and the more you want to protect your money.
I am not a person who's going to fight in entrepreneurship so hard and go and toil. No. I would prefer something that...
Are you a career person? Do you have like a... besides Elevate and these other stuff?
I think I'm actually pivoting.
Okay.
Yeah, so I told you I studied law. So I had no background in marketing. But now that's what I'm moving to. I'm pivoting into marketing. I want to maybe rack up a few qualifications there. So, papers are important. Right now, people can see what you're doing good, but they have their company requirements telling them that the person needs a bachelor's degree in this and this and this. And that is that's the requirement. That if you don't have it, so you still need some of these things to get into that. So I think I'm a career.
But papers are required for. I was reading that article you have with some blog. I think it's UG something, where you talk about the traditional professions and how you had to do law because that's how
that's
tasked
how it
to
was.
believe. Now, papers. They're important, yeah. If you're a career person, they're important. And school is important, but it's how you look at what school is and how you define school. Yeah, I was in times I was in first year. I was doing another course at YMCA in computer science. Then my elder brother was doing software engineer at MOOC.
The real techies, all of them.
So, all the time in my first year, I spent it in classes for 4th years because I used to just go and sit at his workstation most of the time and just learn the stuff I wanted to know. So, usually you don't fall for fun. When you refuse to graduate, I also said, no. Let me go get skilled and... We probably don't have the same chances, but it opens you up to a world where you have direct control of your time and your understanding, where you know that life is really about you and it's up to you to fuck it up or not. But the thing I have with my friends who have papers, and I have quite a number of them, they have degrees. If they fail at one thing, okay, if let's say they look for a job and it frustrates them, it has killed them. It has killed their spirit about so many things. It has also killed their spirit about adjusting. You see how you studied law and now pivoting into marketing. It has killed their spirit because they have finished something and it has not done any results. So they have that fear of actually doing something that's not going to produce results. However, from my point was, the papers are really interesting if you have a career thing and you want to grow a profession, you want to be a lawyer, doctor, engineer, you need them. You need to put them there. But when you are into a competitive life like we have, you're better off having skills, actual skills, where you can do stuff and show that I did this stuff.
No, but when I say career person, I think even later in life, I would maybe you see your life into management positions. Yeah. Like even if you get into, you're doing marketing, let me say you're working at Uganda Breweries Limited. and okay, but those guys have entry. Okay, you have your papers. You're working at Uganda Boys Limited. You go into their company, and if they are looking for a marketing manager, that's what I'm saying. Just sometimes you just need to have it on the side. It's also not something. For me, I think skills are more important. Yeah. It's about what you can do, but I'm also very alive to
getting more information, more knowledge.
The unfortunate reality we live in. Yeah, but I think maybe things. But
see the reality we live in again. If we are to look at the reality we need in, first of all, the reality we need in is technical know-how. That guy at Kankwasa is going to get a job at Swang's Avenue in the next 5 years. Yet me, our Mala, with my experience and everything, I will not get that job. Because the top leads at Swang's Avenue are probably belonging to something like that.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's also about, your network is yours.
So to get into places, yes. Yeah, you just need your network. Then your skill, you rely on your skill to show value.
To keep you there.
Exactly.
Your network will get you into places, but it's only your skill that will get you.
Your skill
you can't fake things. Let me tell you, Mark, you can't fake things. So sometimes...
So the guys will say fake it until you make it.
No, but anyway, you can't fake skills. Yeah? Okay, you can't really fake skills. Even when you think you're faking, there's something you've already learned and you're actually applying it. You might think for you're faking, but you might find that you actually you learned something. You are making some research and you picked something, and so you can't really fake things completely, except anyway, that also depends.
So what legacy are you leaving behind as we are concluding? Unless there are things we have not talked about and you're passionate about.
Legacy. That's a big word.
It's not. You just imagine the world what you want to leave behind for your children, probably for the world you want to see.
I'd like to think of myself as a protagonist, a person, my kind of character.
Yeah.
So I think there was a time, let me say on Twitter, where I used to politics, try to stand up for lots of things, and I think it's in my nature to do that. I not love to do that, but you know how you feel, you get satisfaction, you derive satisfaction from helping.
Yeah.
Not even really helping. I don't want to say really helping people to
supporting
when someone knows that I can rely on this guy. Actually, let me just put it this way. When someone I can really rely on Mark for this, that if I give him this, I can rely on him, and I think that's something we need. I want to leave behind. Like in the future, like Tandeka is very reliable and pathetic. That's a little. Live a little good in the world.
Well, that's it from my side. Unless now you have.
Well,
anything we'll talk about.
I should have actually prepared this one and just go on it.
Anytime, by the way, this podcast is you can bounce back 100 times.
I was always thinking, how did you I also, when you spoke about how you used to put some tweets out, and guys I also used to look at some of your tweets and be like, this guy is such an instigator.
Exactly not that. You see, that's the thing. I want to follow the rules. You see how these applications work? It's interesting. How Twitter, Facebook work is they trade attention to the highest bidder and they make money. So by doing that, they bank on the fact that you have to keep on the screen and scroll. You have to keep scrolling. So they have to make it interesting. It is in a way that a tweet that you might find harsh in your beliefs, is going to show up on your timeline, even if it's not supposed to show up. But maybe this circling thing will help. But the algo is just designed like that. Facebook, like Wobo Lugambo, if we are two cousins and there's some bad Lugambo, it is going to show it to that guy's timeline automatically because we are connected in some way, or either in friends, or we have talked on phone, or we share numbers, and it picks up. So the applications are just designed like that to keep up with the attention. It must trigger you.
So you're really blaming your instigation on
the algorithm. not on like I know
the
like
timing was wrong.
yes,
Like,
because I share
the algorithm puts
times,
my tweets
thank
before
you.
people when they're angry.
I share the same thoughts with a million other people. That's not news. The same things.
Yeah,
you
but
probably
sometimes I also look at some of the things and I'm like, okay, I see what he's saying.
and also I don't believe there should be anything wrong with being offended.
Yeah, it's normal to be offended.
Yes, you have to expect to be offended because in a world where you do not take offense, even in football, they're defenders, then the guy is striking. The other side, they're defenders, stopping something from happening. We're just like that. In every other game you're playing, there should be offense. So if you do not, because when I offend you, you will not stop eating food. Unless I'm hurting you. Really. I'm saying wrong things about you, they're hurting your reputation, then I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
But offense because of opinion, it all just comes back from you should know you're in a different mood on Twitter, yeah? Like I could be
That's
my
why
heights.
I like it when people say guys need to understand Twitter is not real life.
It's not.
It's not
a real place.
life.
It's not.
It's
we're
like
in the mind
it's like
space.
you thank you.
Yes.
It's a mind space. You've picked a part of your mind. You've put
A
it there.
small very portion.
A small portion.
And comments.
Now all of you are reacting over.
Thank you.
So I hear you, and I see you on that. It's a mind space, and of course they're going to be different views. Always.
Yeah, but now the world is funny. There is, of course, what is right and what is wrong. There's also another challenge. You can only say so much. There's some things right now. Even YouTube flags out some stuff. You can't talk about COVID. Right now, you can't talk about Jews.
But don't you think that like in any community, like how even here in real life, that there's some things you're not going to go out there and say. Don't you think that some of these platforms we need to
treat them as communities?
Yes.
Now that's the trick, yeah. Because
I want you to understand that. Actually,
because again,
community, yes.
Yes, yeah, the communities, but because again, that community is so diverse and big. Yeah, you cannot now.
It's not a proper reflection.
I'm speaking to some guys who are in the US. They are on my timeline. Then I'm speaking to some guys who are staunch Baganda, who believe that you're supposed to be in a Gomez and stuff like that. Yeah, but now I'm posting my chick and she's in a bikini. They're going to be offended. But there's a standard. There's Rihanna. I'm recreating Rihanna's picture with my girlfriend, so it's something that pleases me. So I'm speaking to different cultures. Yeah. And again, like it's a mind space. It's not a real place.
What about hate speech? Yeah.
No, hate speech is hate speech.
Yeah,
again, if you're saying things that are hurting groups of people, if you're saying things about gays and gays are going to get hurt, yet you're not getting hurt, that is hate speech.
So,
but then I do not have. There's no problem with me having an opinion on gay people. Like I could be homophobic in my opinion.
So can't you be homophobic? So you're saying people can be homophobic on Twitter?
I think.
Okay. It also depends on.
I think they're allowed to be. Yeah. Again, as long as you're not causing harm, I can have. People have issues with straight people.
Yeah, that's true.
People have issues with people who have very many partners. Yet to them, that's an ideal of living.
that they've over. Like the movement, it has become so big.
It's also like battles. People don't want to have conversations to understand, like arguments. You see, we come up with our opinions, depending first of all on our emotions, about how we feel about things, then with the experience of what we have seen. We can only work with just that. So, in it looks like it's a battle. It's not about understanding. And look, we don't have to understand each other. Yeah.
It's not a must.
Yeah, we don't have to understand each other, but we must be in position to appreciate everyone's views because they come from different backgrounds. A broken man who has been broken by 8 girlfriends and they have gone through some stuff.
So do you think that people should also face the consequences of their
that is a standard in life. If you
if you say some shit and people
I did physics at A level, so I understand that to every action you do there must be an equal but opposite reaction.
Fair enough.
You must take the hit. You must be like Kanye West. You say some shit, it costs you 1.5 billion. You smile about it. Yes, you take about it.
You take as long as you're willing to accept.
Exactly. That's for me. I know that this is what, and he has talked about getting the consequences. So again, I over talk about him because it's like an ideal structure of how I think a normal human being is.
Yeah, like
he has
just
admitted
because,
to be a normal human
just
being.
because it's really out there, he's
Yeah.
expressive and he puts it out there.
Like he knows that I could say some bad things because I'm human, because they're coming from how I understand. When he talked about, say, the views, the Jews, he had his opinions were based on a Jew doctor giving him wrong medicine. And then he comes to defend that, like, no, not all Jews are bad, but because the narrative has been set that once one person does one thing when they're black, you're going to blame the whole black thing. I want to do the same exact thing so that you see the impact of it.
Man, you don't touch the Jews.
Of course you don't. You don't touch the Jews. You don't.
Anything but the Jews. But for me, I think there needs to be regulation. What
do you think about the Misuse Act? Okay, now that you speak of regulation.
Well,
you see, in a world where there's regulation, it's a world where there are very many unfair things. Now, like the marijuana battle, because there are regulations and restrictions on marijuana, we have a lot of people that are wrongfully arrested and taken away for just simple things. Probably doesn't even affect them. It's not the cause. Marijuana does not make anyone steal. Crimes, you cannot smoke and your mind says go and steal or go and beat up someone. No. Probably, honestly, it's like alcohol. You could do something bad and drink your alcohol and want it to wash away. So regulations, to me, that's the issue with them. They just work for a select few, and that's a very unfair world to live in.
Okay, yeah. They work for the people making it.
Exactly.
But,
for you as a lawyer.
What I really believe in regulation, I think, because in everything there needs to be a little regulation. Yeah. In everywhere we exist, in every environment that we exist.
True, too much of everything is bad.
There are certain rules that work there. That's why, okay, now let's give this example of Qatar. Yeah. How the
World Cup.
And they're like, man, we don't want homosexuals, Or actually, no, we don't want homosexual activity here. So I think we need to accept some cultures develop at certain speeds, So if the West is liberal to that point, it doesn't mean that Uganda needs to catch up at that same space, But we do need to, if it's good and it's positive, we need to move it. Now, for Qatar, for example, if for them their culture right now, that is it. Take it there, finish your football, and go away. Don't try.
Shouldn't be an issue, by the way, because the whole game is to go there for football.
It's football. It's football. But then they're like, no, and I understand that it's. But for men, I think you can go without sex for a month. So even if they had said,
but who's going to watch you having sex?
Even if they had said that
who's going to watch
men and women don't have sex in Qatar, people would still have what?
But who's going to watch them? Who's going to watch two grown people having sex?
Exactly. So I also don't understand.
They're only saying don't PDA
they say,
1 month.
They say they won't allow them to. They won't be booking hotels out to gay couples.
It's kawa. Like, how are you going to know that this is my son or brother? Like for us,
we're just sharing.
We're on a budget.
Anyway, so for me, I think people need to acclimatize. When you go to a place, your values are not their values. You need to understand that. But there are some things that are human values that need to cut across. So that's why.
Like, do not kill a fellow human, right?
No, even some of this, but like, just let people be. But if some people don't get it, you understand that as well. I don't know if it makes sense that you need to understand people.
People ignore just one simple thing, that
have your personal
the culture
values,
of people are not homophobes because they want to be.
No, here in Uganda?
Yes. Okay, because I live here.
Because it's how we've grown up. It's how our culture has been. But it needs
so for you as a homosexual, you have to be very patient.
It needs to evolve.
For people to catch up. Like, how many people are going to evolve? There are very many factors as to why people cannot evolve in a society like ours. It goes down to access of information. How many people are learned? How many people are read? How many people are exposed?
No, but when I say it needs to evolve, it goes down to things like if a person like a journalist, you shouldn't perpetuate certain narrative. Like, that's what I mean.
Like, why are you good?
Not every society. It was a funny one. At least we got him worldwide fame. But I think it was a very
ignorant statement. Yes, like who asks someone that question? And same powers on that meeting with carrots and cucumbers, and they aired this thing.
Then I also think the whole demonizing thing is just crazy, man.
Well, but people are Christians. A big number of people in the society are Christians, and the Christian demonizes homosexuals from the Bible.
No?
From the Old Testament, it does.
Jesus says that love. That's why I told you. That's why I go back to the whole thing. Love. You don't, even if someone is different, even if they steal or what, you love, like you understand.
Yeah, but the Bible strongly talks about companionship between man and women.
It's not for you to judge.
The Bible talks about companionship between man and women. It fronts them from the beginning until the extra end. So the normal believer will definitely have that in their mind.
It's that, but we also recognize that these things have been part of our society.
Yes, but also what makes the Bible, let me tell you, what makes the Bible one of the most relevant books, also very special, is because it's read by the most people. It's in as very many languages. It's also one of the oldest books.
It's the most interpreted book in the world.
So it's speaking to all these people. So for you as a marginalized group, in my opinion, I feel like you have to have a lot of patience. Because you have to wait out all this. Yeah? You have to wait out a culture of people who are just... Of course, there's so much more new information that people are adapting to and they're relating to. They're still staying pretty... But you have to be so patient with them. Like, people genuinely feel like they have a right to be homophobes. And sometimes you can't blame them. Like, they genuinely... Like, one day I was walking... I think we're going for a concert, so we saw two guys holding each other. So my brother guy and his boys were like, yeah, and all his boys could support him. Now, for you, if you say no,
that's a proper reflection of our society.
Yes.
You know, on Twitter, there's so many people who are, at least I would say, Chilla read. Okay, Twitter people are not read.
Yeah.
But at least they think they know something.
Yeah.
So, of course, they're
on the internet, so they're exposed to information.
So they're exposed.
Yeah.
But how many people use the internet or use social media?
This is what I was telling you, access to information in a society like ours.
It isn't a proper reflection of our society.
It's very wrong data to work on.
But we also have to
look at our leadership.
But let me tell you, listen to this. These things haven't come from, it's a Western thing that it needs to be going through the internet. Even when you're here, deep down in the village there's some kid who could be like that. He hasn't seen.
What the West does is to amplify and make it normal, as they should.
Yes.
Yeah?
No, okay, I don't think as they should.
I think they should.
Promote a culture
inclusively,
of a sexual culture.
All they're doing is inclusivity.
For me, I'm conservative. I also even just...
Now, that's the other issue.
Yeah, that's a whole other issue.
But what the Western media does in this case is to say that they're including everyone in whatever they're doing. That we will not put straight couples in movies if we are not putting gay couples in movies. They're clinging to that. They're saying we're including everyone. Okay, they're also going to the fact that now superheroes have to be like lame. Maybe you have a mental issue. They're including everyone to show people that the world has these people. And
representation is important, but up to what point? To what point are we going to kill the integrity
of people,
of shows and the enjoyment that comes from them because we are subplotting to all these other narratives here, and you're pushing this and you're pushing this.
Yeah, because if they don't make it inclusive, then the stigma grows exponentially. But if they make it, their inclusivity is to make it normal. Celine was on the podcast. She was saying how in the next, let's say, 10 years, being a homosexual will be so normal because people are more accepting. Yeah. So that's
but I also believe people right?
That's as a result of that Western media. They'll put it everywhere. They threw a gay scene in House of Cards for nothing.
It's like soft launching.
They just put it there, boo, from nowhere.
I think generally, because it's a general reflection of society everywhere, be it black. It's not just in America where we people are like that.
It's everywhere. In schools, young guys who don't even have anything.
Because I'm saying it's a reflection. That's how the world is. That's how it was there from the beginning. They've always been. There's a story in the Bible about that. Was it Sodom and Gomorrah? One of the reasons they burnt that was because. So it's been there, and it's a reflection of society, and movies and film reflect that. But anyway, interestingly, for me, I think people are going to concentrate more on what puts food on their table.
True. Have you watched Black Adam?
Not yet. I've been seeing very bad reviews, so I was like, let me hold out and then I'll watch it.
Woman King. I've also seen some few.
You watched? No, I haven't just watched. But Woman King, I've seen mixed reviews. Since people are saying it's good, then I am saying it's really bad.
I feel like there are people who are saying it's good on a budget because feminism is on the rise. But I've not watched it, so I don't know shit. But I personally watch movies for different reasons.
But then it's so you're really interested in the art scene, I see.
Yeah.
So arts, movies, what?
That's. I also feel like content is like oil.
But content is.
Yeah, it can make you rich exponentially.
Yeah, that's right now.
There's a question I forgot to ask, by the way, in terms of business. When Elevate does concepts for clients, who owns the content? Is it Elevate or the client?
The client owns the content. The client owns the content. Sometimes even if we did some work for a client and we're leaving, we have to pass on the source files to the next person, because that's what we want to create. That we're giving you, this is your work.
Okay.
They go with it.
Oh man, that's
all right. Thank you so much for having me. It's been interesting, very, very interesting.
Me too. It has been very interesting.
It's a great thing you have going here. Meanwhile, I was baked, so I'm just coming out of it right now.
I can't see.
I could
tell when that car. But yeah, this was dope. Thank you.